One, we're going to be talking about joy in the midst of heartache, in the midst of difficult circumstances. We're going to be talking about being bold and having courage. Because even in the midst of Paul's prison cell, he's still being bold for the gospel. It doesn't shake him. It doesn't cause him to shrink back. It doesn't cause him to change his story. It causes him to remain bold for what he's been doing. And he knows his life purpose. And so today, another thing we're going to talk about is purpose. How do we get there? How do we become more bold even in our own faith? When we are not in a jail cell, but yet when someone pushes back against us in our culture, we have a tendency to go, oh, well, I offended somebody. Let me shrink back a little. That's not the gospel message. That is not what Jesus wants us to do. That is not the way of Jesus. And so those are some things we're going to land on today and talk about. So I'm really excited about that. And so as we get there, we see that Paul saw this opportunity in the prison cell as an opportunity to spread the good news. You know, in all of our circumstances, because here on planet Earth, we're all going to have really good times and we're all going to have really bad times. And that's just the nature of things because we live in a fallen world. It is not perfect. Ever since back in Genesis chapter 3, when humanity, Adam and Eve, took a bite of the fruit that God said, do not eat. And they said, oh, I think I'm going to anyway. Rebellion is the issue. And until we surrender our rebellion to Jesus, we don't understand that work that God wants to do in our lives because God created a perfect place. So until Jesus comes back, which he is going to, because he is faithful and true to his word, until he comes back or until we die and we're gone from planet Earth, we will always have heartache in this world. But Jesus promised us in red letters, he said, but I will be with you. That's the good news in all of this. So it doesn't matter if you follow Jesus today, or it doesn't matter if you're as close to Jesus as you've ever been. In this world, each of us in this space today are going to have trouble. We're going to walk through days when our vehicles don't start. We're going to walk through days when we got water leaks in our house. We're going to walk through days when things happen, right? And so I would rather walk with Jesus. And so Paul is not defined by his circumstance here in this place. We need to take note of that. Paul did not allow his imprisonment to determine who he was going to be. In fact, he flips everything on its end and he says, no, he said, I see this as an opportunity to spread the good news. How many of us, when we get hit with bad circumstances, do we get the woe is me? We wallow in self-pity, right? We get to this place and go, oh my goodness, my life has never been so worse. Come on, how many people have ever said that in this space? Am I the only one? Okay, I guess I'm the only one. I see a couple hands up there. Okay, good. So I'm not alone. But the tendency is for us to be like, oh my goodness, no one else is experiencing this. This can only happen to me. But God wants us to flip that on its head and say, no, look, let's use every opportunity that we have in life to tell someone about the good news.